U Sports on CBC, presented by l'U Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada. Nike, Fox 40, Theraburn Medical Supply, Les Bag Baron Rings, APAR, and by BioSteel.
That's embarrassing. You know what's not embarrassing? Using FIG for a home improvement loan. A quick, simple, and transparent offer in minutes. Borrow better with FIG.
Le sport en direct sur icitout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est icitout.tv.
Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the good stuff with no extras and no gimmicks. Just clean, healthy hydration. Trusted by pro athletes since 2009. Steel sharpens steel.
It's not just about the victory. It's about the moments leading up to it. BioSteel, the fuel behind every victory.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Prelim sessions have been exciting so far at the 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships. We've seen U Sports records broken in the morning. We've seen school records broken all over the place. As Jade Lowe leads out this first heat for UBC out of lane 0 at 30.77. She'll continue to have the lead through 100 at 1:05.52, splitting a 34.75 on that second 50. Still a body length lead on the field here for UBC's Jade Lowe out of lane 0. As she turns at 1:42.55. Jenna Wall picking up a couple, about a body length on Jade Lowe on that last 50. Trying to make it a race on this last 25, and she will. 25 meters to go in this heat 1 of the women's 200 butterfly prelims. And we've got a close one as Jenna Wall looks to overtake Jade Lowe on this last 25 as they'll go 1-2 with Jenna Wall at 220.56 and Jade Lowe at 220.91. Up next, women's 200 butterfly heat 2. Three circle-seated heats on the way. Heat 2 led by Iris Tinmouth out of McGill University. Her entry time at 2:13.75. Iris out 30.08. Jessica Morgan running second right now at 30.53, and rounding out your top 3 is Guliash in lane 5 out of UBC. A 1:04.35 opening 100 for Iris Tinmouth. As McGill University's Melanie DiMaria puts together a great third 50 and starts to make this a race with Iris Tinmouth in lane 4. They'll be just 1 second apart headed into this final 50. It's still Tinmouth with 25 meters to go. But a great swim on the way from Melanie DiMaria. It will be Tinmouth at 2:15.55 with DiMaria putting together a great swim at 2:16.81. As McGill goes 1-2 in that second of 4 heats in the women's 200 butterfly. Up next, we have Heat 3. Top entry time coming into this third of 4 heats. The women's 200 butterfly is in lane 4. University of Toronto's Angel Yao, seated with a 2:13.44. And she's out to an early lead, splitting 29.38 on the first 50. Stanovic second right now at 30.02, but a quick opening 100 on the way from Angel Yao. A 1:03.40 at the halfway point. As the University of Toronto has 1-2 in heat 3 of this women's 200 fly so far. This heat tightens up at the top, 139.09. As Dana Lolich takes the lead over Angel Yao. Lauren Anthony in lane 8 putting together a great swim. She's in 3rd right now. So Caitlin Stanilovich with about a body length lead over her teammate Angel Yao. As she comes under the flag, she'll pick up this heat 3 win at 2:14.58 as Yao goes 2:16.73. Toronto goes 1-2 with Lauren Anthony out of McGill taking 3rd, or Guelph taking 3rd at 2:18.48. Up next, women's 200 butterfly heat 4. Four swimmers turning sub 31 at the 50. Ross's Romstad leading the way through 50 meters. Still a tightly punched heat 4. Nina Mullen taking control of this women's 200 butterfly heat 4. She turned at 1:04.07 and has made quite the move in this middle 100. Nina Mullen pulling away from this heat 4 prelim. Your 200 IM champion from last night. That's about a 2 body length lead on this field. Morissette DeShazel in 3 and 5 in a great race for second. But Nina Mullen will take the win at 2:13.53. With 1/10 of a second separating second and third in your 4th and final heat of the women's 200 butterfly. Morissette will take second at 2:16.98 with DeShazel taking third at 2:17.08. So Nina Mullen will lead the way for the University of Toronto at 2:13.53 as Toronto is 1-2 in the A final. Owning those 4 and 5 lane slots, Lauren Anthony leads the way in the B final with a 2:18.48. And Gabriel Grosses-Romstad leads the way in the C final at a 2:19.83. What an A final we have in store tonight. Every final tightly bunched, and the University of Toronto opening up a great prelim in the women's 200 butterfly, looking to build some momentum here on morning number 3 from the 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships. Up next, we'll keep things rolling with event 28 men's 200 butterfly. We'll have 3 heats, and this is heat 1. Straight into the circle-seated heats of this men's 200 butterfly. Top entry time in this heat is UBC's Jacques Harrison at 1:58.38. Your top 3 entry times all sub 2 minutes. As it looks like it might take sub 2 to make the A final tonight for these men. Alexander Bowden still leading the way through 100 meters at 55.98. As we have a really quick first heat of the men's 200 butterfly on the way. A 1:26.43 at the 150 for Alexander Bowden. Your top 3 all turning under 128 at the 150. Andrew Coombs putting together a great 200 fly up in weight number 7. But the heat win will go to the middle of the pool with Alexander Bowden putting up a 1:58.43. Second goes to Jacques Harrison at 1:58.61. As your top 4 all go sub 2 minutes in that first heat of the men's 200 butterfly. Up next, event 28, men's 200 butterfly, heat 2. One more heat on the way in the men's 200 butterfly prelims. Bill Dong Fang out of the University of Toronto leading the way at 1:56.26 coming into this, and he's leading the way right now through 50 and through 75. The 26.09 through 50 meters. Getting after this 200 butterfly prelim. A 54.99 opening 100 for Bill Dong Fang. looking in control of this Heat 3 prelim right now. Still over a body length lead for your leader in 4. He turns it 125-24. But a quick prelim on the way in heat number 2. We're going to see some sub 2 minute 200 butterflies. Question is how many and by how much for your leader in 4. A 156.30 is by how much for Bill Dongfang. In heat 2 of this men's 200 butterfly prelim, a 157.28 for Aiden Kirk takes second. As your top 3, yet again, all go sub 2 minutes this morning. Up next, event 28, your third and final heat of the men's 200 butterfly. Third and final heat of the men's 200 butterfly underway. Your top time coming into this meet, Benjamin Lowen in 4 out of the University of Toronto. A 154.46 entry time. University of Toronto occupying lanes 3, 4, and 5 of this third and final heat. With Elijah Daly just below Benjamin Lowen in 3. And Wells Ginzer looking to interrupt the 1-2 that Toronto is trying to put on the board in this third and final heat of the men's 200 butterfly prelims. Ginzer ended at a 2:00:49, but putting together a great swim in lane 6 right now as your top 3 all turn under, or top 4 all turn under 128 at the 150. Michael Andrew Seva trying to get up into this race with 25 meters to go and help Toronto go 1, 2, 3 in this third and final heat. As Elijah Daly powers home on that last 25. And he'll pick up the Heat 3 win at 158.12. Just in front of his teammate Benjamin Lowen at 158.18 as Toronto goes 1, 2, 3 in your third and final heat of the men's 200 butterfly. And leading the way is Bill Dongfang out of Toronto as Toronto puts together a great prelim in the men's 200 fly, putting 4 into the championship final. Zach Parise leads the way in the B final at 159.70 for UBC. And Tristan LeVar out of the University of Laval leads the way in the C final at 2:02.52. What a prelim podium for the University of Toronto in the men's 200 butterfly. 1, 2, 3, and 4 into the championship final, with Bill Dongfang leading the way at 1:56.30. We've seen some incredible swimming so far and some fast prelims, especially in the 50-meter races. And we've got more 50s on the way from our third and final morning here at the 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships. Kicking things off, we'll have 5 heats of the women's 50 breaststroke, event 29. And heat 1 is behind the blocks and ready to go. Five heats on the way in the women's 50 breaststroke. In a race that is typically too close to call until they hit the wall. Yanni Wang putting together a great swim in this first heat of the women's 50 breaststroke, and she'll win it at 33:59. Taking 0.4 of a second off of her entry time. Up next in event 29, the women's 50 breaststroke. This is heat number 2. Two in the water in the women's 50 breaststroke. Top entry time in this heat goes to Montreal's Marie-Yville Rodrigue at 33.16. High tempo out of Jenna Wall in lane 3 from McGill University. She can time the finish, she'll get this win, and she does it, 33.01. Second goes to Emery's Pang at 33.15. Rounding out your top 3 in Heat 2, McKenna Wood at a 33.24. Next in event 29, we have heat number 3. Your first of 3 circle-seated heats in this women's 50 breaststroke. Features Shauna Branton out of Western University, seated at 31.00. And She'll turn in a 30.96, our first sub-31 swim of the morning. Second place going to Nordquist out of 6 at 31.83, and a 32.01 for Chloe Danks out of lane 2 for the University of Toronto. We'll round out your top 3 in heat number 3. Up next in event 29, the women's 50 breaststroke, we have heat number 4. Sub-31 entry time for Eloise Allen at 30.5 for UBC in lane 4. A great turn for Eloise Allen and about a body length lead on this field here in heat 4 of the 50 breaststroke as she turns in a 30.61 to take over your top time of the morning in event 29. Second goes to Julie Nolan-McCarty at 32.09, and Natalie Day will round out your top 3 at 32.21. One more heat in event 29 this morning in the women's 50 breaststroke. This is heat 5. Top entry time coming into the 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships is Alexandre Lepage in lane 4 from the University of Calgary. It's a 30.00, and the U Sports Championship record of 30.34. As Alexandre Lepage goes high tempo to finish off this 50 breaststroke prelim. How fast will it be? A 29.91 for Alexandre Lepage, breaking the U Sports Championship record. Second goes to Ella Collins at 31.75. And Masha Mateo will take third at 32.12. But one more round of applause, a sub-30 swim, and a new U Sports Championship record for Alexandre Lepage. And she will lead the way in the championship final tonight at 29.91 as your top 3 all go sub-31 this morning. Masha Mateo will lead the way in the B final at 32.12. And Martin will lead the way in the C final at 32.53. Expect some close racing tonight in those 3 heats of the women's 50 breaststroke. next and moving things right along, we have event 30, the men's 50 breaststroke, where we will have 6 heats. And behind the blocks, ready to go, is heat 1. Well, we talked about how fast the prelims have been so far from the 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships. We've seen a ton of best times. We've seen a ton of school records being set. And we've even seen U Sports records being set. And not expecting anything else from this event 30, the men's 50 breaststroke. Pico tears through this first heat out of lane 5 and picks up the win at 28.92. Going sub 29 to win the first of 6 heats here in the men's 50 breaststroke. Up next and ready to race behind the blocks, heat number 2 of the men's 50 breaststroke. Heat number 2 on the way. Alexander Lalonde out of the University of Victoria, your top seed. With a great swim right now coming out of River He in lane 3 from McGill at 28.51. River He will take the win. Second go to Logan Milne at 28.76, also going sub 29. And rounding out your top 3 is Alejandro Gigi out of lane number 1 at 28.78. Up next, your third heat in event 30, men's 50 breaststroke. Top seed coming into heat 3, Jet Vergi out of the University of Calgary at a 28.54. But this heat really tightly seated, only 0.3 separating their entry times. And it looks like it's the same story in the pool right now. A tight race into heat 3. We'll go to John Ryan in lane 3 at 28.45. Simon Couture in lane 8 at 28.78, a 28.59 in lane 7 for Roastard Smith. A ton of 28s on the board in that third heat. Three circle-seated heats on the way in event 30, the men's 50 breaststroke. The first of those is heat number 4. to even more the top time in Heat 4 coming into this at 27:53. But Tristan Bennett out of lane 5 putting together a great prelim, and he'll win it at 27:40. Moore will take second at 27:60 as Hayden Young goes 27:69 to take third. As your top 4 all break 28 seconds this morning. Up next, event 30, men's 50 breaststroke, heat 5. Top entry time in Heat 5 is Ethan Hemian. And he's got a slight edge on this field. Can he close and hold off this Heat 5? And he will just by a bit at 27:14. Ian Cameron will take second at 27:28. And Isaac Allen will round out your top 3 in Heat 5 at 27:71 as your top 6 all go sub 28 in Heat 5. One more heat on the way in event 30, the men's 50 breaststroke. We've seen 5 fast heats so far, is expecting nothing less out of heat number 6. Top seed overall coming into this prelim is Justice Mignot out of UBC in lane 4 at 27:38. We've seen a lot of sub 28 performances so far this morning. And we've got more on the way in heat number 6 as Justice Mignot turns in a 27:21. And your top 4 all go sub 28. With Noah Chang turning in a 27:51 for second. And Nicholas Duncan taking third at 27:59 out of lane 2. A lot of 27s on the board in the A final. Leading the way is Ethan Hemian at 27:14. Mignot right behind him at 27:2. Ian Cameron also sub 27:3. We have a fast A final on the way tonight. Hayden Young at 27:69 leads the way in the B final. As 6 of your top 8 in the B final all break 28 in a fast prelim of the men's 50 breaststroke. Carter takes the top spot at 28:10 in the men's 50 breaststroke C final. But what a fast prelim we just got to watch. These 50s in the morning have been quick. We've already seen a U Sports Championship record broken. The A final of the men's 50 breaststroke, all sub 28. Can we get representatives from Calgary and McGill to the admin desk? Calgary and McGill to the admin desk. Up next, we have event 31, the women's 100 freestyle. We'll have 6 heats in this prelim session. And ready to go is heat 1. Halfway through this first heat of the 100 freestyle, turning at 26:68 is Sydney Hardiman out of lane 6. And picking up the win at 56:52 is Sydney Hardiman. Starting things off quick in event 31, the women's 100 freestyle with a sub 57 swim. So your top 3 all go sub 1 minute. Next in event 31, the women's 100 freestyle, we have heat 2. Top entry time in heat 2 is Alexandra Bertram in lane 4. 58:04 as this entire heat comes in, seated sub 1 minute. Megan Mertz leading the way out of lane 2 at 27:01 through the 50 with about a half body length lead over Grabowski in 3. Tight race under the flags, but it looks like it will go to lane number 2. Megan Mertz at 57 flat. Your top 3 all breaking 58 seconds. Katie Grabowski taking second at 57:46. Alexandra Bertram rounding out your top 3 at 57:61. A quick top 3 in heat 2 of this women's 100 freestyle. Up next in event 31, women's 100 free, we have heat 3. Most of this heat coming in seated sub 58. We saw a few sub 58 swims in heat 2, expecting more on the way here as Julianne Moore leads this field out in 27-21. Moore out of the University of Calgary, seated with a 57.62, but putting together a great swim in lane 5 right now. Julianne Moore out of the University of Calgary turns in a 56.19. Going well under her entry time of 57.62 and picking up a heat win in heat 3. As your top 5 all go sub 58. A quick prelim on the way in event 31. Three more heats on the way in the women's 100 freestyle prelims, all circle seated, and the first of those is heat 4. Circle seated heats on the way. This one led on entry times by Tegan Vanderleek out of the University of Toronto at 54.92. She'll turn second just behind Ella Howe in lane 3. They turn at 26.38 and 26.44. Sound to be like a broken record, but these prelims have been fast from the 2026 U Sports Swimming Championship so far. It looks to be no different in this 4th of 6 heats in the women's 100 free, as your top 5 all go sub 56 in a tight race. Leading the way is Tegan Vanderleek at 55.47. Second going to Ella Howe at 55.56, and your top 3 rounded out by Rose Garcia at 55.68. Up next in the women's 100 freestyle prelims, heat 5. Two heats left in the women's 100 freestyle prelims this morning, and they have been quick. Emma O'Croynan, your top seed, coming into this heat 5 at 54.48. And she leads the way at the 50, turning at 26.38. A body length lead on this field through 75 for Emma O'Croynan. As Grace Shy looks to turn in a good time out of lane number 2. The win will go to Emma O'Croynan at 54.56. Grace Shy takes second at 55.81. In a tie with Eliza Hausman out of lane 5, also at 55.81. Up next, we have one more heat in the women's 100 freestyle prelims. This is Heat 6. Kyla Sanchez leads the entry times in the women's 100 freestyle at 52:05. And she leads Heat 6 by about a body length coming into the 50, turning at 25:29. Pulling this heat out to a quick first 50. As Kyla Sanchez powers through 75 meters this 100 freestyle prelim. Important to note the U Sports Championship record of 52:46 in the 100 free. Kyla Sanchez entered under that. Will she do it this morning? Just outside of it at 52:50, but a huge prelim 100 freestyle for Kyla Sanchez. As Westlock takes second out of lane 5 at 55:21. And Gemma Norman will take third at 55:75. All right, attention spectators. There are multiple vehicles illegally parked blocking in cars in the parking lot. Multiple vehicles illegally parked blocking in cars in the parking lot. Parking enforcement has been called, and you are advised to move your vehicle before you are ticketed. And there is your A final. Once again, leading the way, Kyla Sanchez at 52:50 in a really fast prelim. Speaking of fast prelims, we're going to keep it rolling here in event 32, men's 100 freestyle. We'll have 5 heats, and heat 1 is on deck. Heat 1 of the men's 100 freestyle on the way, and it is a close one so far. Elliott in 3, and Rao in 4, and Rome in 6. And Ty Honorable will get the win out of lane 4 at 51:02 as all 3 So your swimmers in heat 1 go sub 51.5. Up next in event 32, men's 100 freestyle heat 2. Move on in lane 4 out of McGill University. Your top entry time coming into heat 2 at 50.63. As your top 5 seeds all seated below 51 seconds in this second of 5 heats in the 100 freestyle. George Rodich in lane 7 might have a slight lead, and he'll get the win at 50.55. With Capoletto taking second at 50.58 out of lane 5. And Gonzalez Maciel takes third at 50.78. A lot of sub 51 performances out of heat 2. Three circle-seated heats on the way in the men's 100 freestyle. The first is up next, heat 3. Jake Gaunt, the top entry time in heat 3, coming in at 48.56. Lane 1, Thomas McDonald will lead the way through 50 at 23.71. As Conning Baracco out of the University of British Columbia in 3, putting together a great swim as well. Lane 7, Addison Butler, though, looks like he might get the heat win. He does at 48.81. Gaunt takes second at 49.15. And Thomas McDonald rounds out your top 3 out of lane 1 at 49.23. As your top 7 swimmers all break 50 seconds in heat 3. Up next, 2 heats to go. Heat 4. Top entry time coming into heat 4 goes to Eric Ginsberg in lane 4 at 48.16. He'll turn first at 22.91, just ahead of Liam Weaver in lane 6 for the University of Toronto. A great last turn for Eric Ginsberg. We'll give him a half body length lead into the wall as he turns in a 47.88 to pick up the Heat 4 win of 48.82 for Liam Weaver. Will get him second. So Sien Fidag takes third in 49.14. One more heat on the way in event 32, the men's 100 freestyle. This is heat 5. One more heat in the water for the men's 100 freestyle. Top entry overall in event 32 in the water in lane 4. Yuri Kissel, seated with a 47.80. Kissel split 46.64 on UBC's 400 freestyle relay on our first night here. So we know he's got at least 47 low potential in the individual. And this morning he'll go 47.50. With Joel Blanco taking second at 48.44. And Alain Kurji taking third at 48.83. So Yuri Kissel will lead the way at 47.50, with Eric Ginsberg also going sub 48 at 47.88 this morning. Jake Gaunt leads the way in the B final with a 49.15. It's your top 16 all going sub 50. 100 freestyle prelim. Liam Dennett for Calgary leads the way in the C final at 49.77. He'll be right next to Ethan Fast, his teammate, at 49.85 tonight. So a great A final on the way. A great battle set up between Yuri Kissel and Eric Ginsberg. As we are set for event 33, the women's 200 backstroke. We'll have 4 heats, and this is heat 1. Four heats on the way in the women's 200 backstroke. Leading the way in heat 1 is Olivia Rashaw out of the University of Victoria. She's entered at a 220.27, but out 31.32 at the 50. Avery Mitchell looking to take over the lead at the 100, and she will at 106.37. Great underwater work from Avery Mitchell so far, really utilizing those turns to build the lead here in Heat 1. Another great turn for Avery Mitchell. She builds over a body length lead with just 50 meters to go. Turning at 142.37 and splitting 36 flat. Anything in the 36 range on this last 50 for Avery Mitchell, and she'll go sub 220. Avery Mitchell under the flags, and she'll go well under 220 at a 217.47 to pick up the first heat win. Shea Gas turns in a 219.99 for second, and rounding out your top three, Olivia Rojar at a 220.45. Up next, Heat 2. Three circle-seated heats on the way. The first of which has Hannah Johnson in lane 4, seated at a 209.94. Maria Kosic, University of Toronto, in lane 5 will have the lead through 30 at 30.81. Already about a body length lead for Kosic. And she'll hold on to that lead by about a body length and a half through 100, turning at 104.70. Second right now, Natasha Frost in lane 6. And third out of lane 2 is Harper Lipton. Still a body length plus lead for Maria Kosic out of the University of Toronto, and she turns at 138.59 and splits 33.89 on that third 50. Looks like Kosic will hang on to the lead here and pick up the win in heat number 2 of the women's 200 backstroke prelims in 2:12.66. Natasha Frost next to her with a 2:13.73 will take second for McGill. And Hannah Johnson will round out your top three at lane 4 at 2:15.69. Up next, heat 3. Top seed coming into heat 3 out of lane 4, Emma Croynan for UBC. She picked up the win last night in the 400 freestyle with a 4:06.29, setting a new UBC school record. Rosie Houseman will turn first at a lane 5 at a 30.67, just 1/100th ahead of Abigail McKinley in lane 2. Emma Croynan takes over the lead through halfway in this 200 backstroke prelim, turning it a 1:03.66. Piper Mitchell in second at a 1:04.22. And Rosie Houseman just behind Piper Mitchell at 1:04.32. A great race for second, third, and fourth right now. Emma Croynan turning at 1:36.14 and splitting a 32.48, looking in control of this third prelim heat. Important race for second, third, and fourth on the line right now, though, as these athletes fight for positions in tonight's finals. Croynan a 2 body length lead over this third heat in the women's 200 backstroke prelims, and she'll pick up the win at 2:09.15. And a close race for second, third, and fourth, with second going to Rosie Houseman at a 2:12.67, Piper Mitchell third at 2:12.78, and Abigail McKinley fourth at 2:12.83. Up next, your fourth and final heat of the 200 backstroke prelims for the women, heat 4. Your women's 100 backstroke champion from last night, Bridget Burton, is in lane 4, and she's your top entry time coming into this event at 2:06.75. She was a 57.75 to win the 100 backstroke last night. And using that speed to get an early advantage on this field here, going out sub 30 at 29.89. The second, third, and fourth positions in these circle seated heats so important as these women try to get themselves into the A final for this evening. A 103.18 on the first 100 for Bridget Burton. Still a body length lead on the chasing pack. Great race for second and third between McGrath and Sorrell. And a great turn from Rebecca McGrath as she turns in a 33.25 on that third 50 and has picked up the tempo. A great second 100 from Rebecca McGrath in lane 3. But picking up the Heat 4 win will be Bridget Burton at 2:10.89. And Rebecca McGrath closes in 33.13 to pick up second in 2:11.51. There are your championship finalists, led by Emma O'Croynan at 2:09.15, going sub 2:10 this morning. Bridget Burton second at a 2:10.89. Rebecca McGrath turning in a great prelim just a second ago. We'll round out your top 3 seeds at 2:11.51. Natasha Frost leads the way in your B final at 2:13.73 with Jade Lowe second at 2:14.09 and Hannah Johnson third at 2:15.69. Abby Baylor leads the way in the C final at 2:16.42. Borromeo second at 2:16.89 and Fiona Brophy third at 2:16.98. Fast 200 backstroke final on the way for the women as we get set for event 34's prelims and the men's 200 backstroke. We'll have 4 heats, and this is heat 1. Heat 1 underway in the men's 200 backstroke prelims. Rowan Owi leading the way through 50 at 28.86. And he'll hold on to the lead through the 100, turning at 1:00:31. Jean-Christophe Leroux second at 1:00:92 through the 100. It'll still be leading the way through 150 meters at 1:32:01, turning at a 31:70, third 50 split. Rowan's entry time at 2:04:81. Great last turn for Rowan as he finishes this 200 backstroke Heat 1 prelim with about a body length lead. And he'll take the win at 2:03:72. Second goes to Louis Yin out of the University of Waterloo at 2:05:81. And Blake McPherson-Lewison will take third at 2:07:64. Up next, your first of three circle-seated heats in the men's 200 backstroke prelims, Heat 2. Jack Harrison, their top entry time coming into Heat 2 for the University of British Columbia at a 1:55:68. Great underwater work early from Harrison in 4. And that'll give him the lead through 50 at 27:50. Laurier Lafontaine-Guiguer second right now at 28:11. Harrison still putting in great work on the turns and maintaining a body length lead through 100 meters, turning at 56:90 and splitting at 29:40. Lafontaine-Guiguer also sub 30 on that second 50, turning at 29:77. Still a body length lead for your leader in 4 through 150 meters for Jacques Harrison, turning at 1:26:69. Lafontaine-Guiguer still holding on to second place, turning at 1:28 flat. We have 25 meters to go in this second of 4 heats. The men's 200 backstroke prelims, and what a last turn from Jacques Harrison to pick up the win here in Heat 2 at 1:56:10. Second place at a 1:58:02 does go to Laurier Lafontaine-Guiguer. And rounding out your top 3, Roman Van Loon for the for McGill University, going sub 159 at 158.89. Up next, we're setting ready for Heat 3. Top entry time in Heat 3 goes to Benjamin Lowen in lane 4. As the University of Toronto occupies lanes 3, 4, and 5 with Buck in 3, Lowen in 4, and Winterborn in 5. And they'll lead the way 1, 2, 3 through 50 with Benjamin Winterborn out quick at 26.65. A smooth 56 flat for Benjamin Winterborn. Through halfway this 200 backstroke prelim. And he'll still have about a half body length lead over his teammate Benjamin Lowen with 50 meters to go. He'll turn at 126.47, Lowen at a 127.27, and Carter Buck running out your top 3 with 50 meters to go at 127.96. It is still Benjamin Lowen and Benjamin Winterborn leading the way in this third heat. And Winterborn will get the win at 156.31 with Benjamin Lowen taking second at 156.83. As the University of Toronto goes 1, 2, 3 in this third heat with Carter Buck rounding out your top 3 at 158.26. One more heat on the way in the men's 200 backstroke prelim, Heat 4. Fourth and final heat of the men's 200 backstroke prelims. Leading the entry times in event 34. Loic Corville-Fortin out of McGill University with a 154.47. And he'll lead through the 50, turning at 26.51. Raven Dahmen challenging Corville Fortin in 4. But he'll be just a 1/10 of a second back through 100 meters. Great race developing here in your 4th and final prelim heat of the men's 200 backstroke. And it's the same story as we heard at the 100, now at the 150. Corville Fortin leading the way just by a 1/10 of a second. High stroke rate in 4 for Loic Corville Fortin, and he will get the win in the 4th and final heat at 154.26. As your top 2 both go sub 155, with Raven Dahmen going 154.86. And there are your top 8 in the men's 200 backstroke. Leading the way, Loic Corville Fortin from McGill University at 154.26. Second, Raven Dahmen, after a great final heat race there. We're going to get to see it again tonight. Both going sub 155 in the prelims. Carter Buck leads the way in the B final at 158.26, with your top 4 all going sub 2 minutes in the prelim. And Matthew Sergianis and Aiden Lukinar, both for Calgary, are going to be in the middle of the pool in that C final in 4 and 5. One more look at your championship final. It is going to be a quick one tonight. Backstroke races here at the 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships have been incredible thus far, and we have more on the way in finals. Up next, we have Heat 2 of event 35, the women's 800 freestyle. .32 lengths of the pool here in this women's 800 freestyle. In 0, Gagnon. 1, Vice Reed. 2, Frost. 3, Langridge. 4, Gagne. 5, Schofield. 6, Frost. 7, DeJager. 8, McLeod. And 9, Harvey. Emily DeJager leading the way in 7 through 100 meters at 102.25. Building about a body length lead on this field early. through 200. It's still Emily DeJager splitting 33-2 at 2:08.56. Rice Reed in second out of lane 1 at 2:10.92. And Gagne in lane 4, running third right now at 2:10.99. Through 300, still Emily DeJager as she continues to split 32-4, 32-5, that 33 low to mid-range. What a race across the pool though in 1, 4, 6, and 9. Through the halfway point in this heat of the women's 800 freestyle. Again, a timed final here, so trying to put down a great time and compete with the top 8 that'll be swimming later tonight. A great battle happening across the pool in lanes 1 and 6 between Rice Reed and Frost. Another 33 mid-50 split for Emily DeJager as she continues building a lead on this field. Still a great race developing for second, third, and fourth. .200 meters to go, and Emily DeJager continues to lead this field, turning at 6:37.89. Most of this leading group turning in low 34-second splits as the race for second, third, and fourth continues to heat up. .100 meters to go for Emily DeJager, who has led this race from the beginning. But what a race we have for second right now in lane 1. That's Beatrice Weissried. And in lane 6, Megan Frost. The bells are ringing. 50 meters to go for your leading group. Emily DeJager still with about a 2 body length lead on the field, but it's a 50-meter sprint for second place right now between Beatrice Weissried and Megan Frost. Emily DeJager under the flag. She'll pick up this heat win in 8:52.29, and thanks to a late kick, taking second will be Beatrice Weissried at 8:55.15. Rounding out your top 3 at 8:56.23 in lane 6, Megan Frost. Up next, event 36 men's 1500 freestyle heat 2. Our first heat of the men's 1500 freestyle, a timed final once again. Lane 1, we have Aiden Jorthy out of the University of Calgary. 2, Torrin Vandersteen out of McGill University. 3, Yannick Morgans out of Dalhousie University. In 4, Xavier Pimental out of Calgary. 5, Morgan Sparks out of Dalhousie. 6, out of McGill University, Artyom Volodin. 7, out of Western University, Riley Carswell. And in lane out of the University of Toronto, Mateusz Pawlowski. Leading this group through 150 right now is Xavier Pimentel out of lane 4. Still leading the way through 250 is Pimentel. Trying to break away from this group early. A lot of these athletes breaking up this 1500 strategy-wise into 250s, 200s, or even 500s. The strategy for Pimentel early seems to be break away from this group and see who hangs with me. Calgary running 1-2 right now with Pimentel in 4 and Aiden Yorfie in lane 1. Sub 4 through 400 for Xavier Pimentel at 3:59.35. As Calgary still 1-2 in the early stages of this 1500 freestyle. A 30.88 split there from Xavier Pimentel and a 30.76 for Aiden Jorfie. As they've been splitting sub 31 throughout the early portions of this 1500 freestyle so far. Through 500 meters, a third of the way through this 1500 freestyle time final. And Pimentel still holding a 30-point high, splitting a 30.83 there. Aiden Jorfie looking to try to close the distance on his teammate as he splits 30.75 to Xavier Pimentel's 31.23. Jorfi another 30.7. Pimentel at 31-2 as Jorfi continues to close the distance on your leader, Xavier Pimentel. A move being made by Aiden Jorfi as he challenges for the lead as we pass halfway in this 1500 freestyle. And it is still Xavier Pimentel with the lead, but not by much. Just 1/100th of a second separating your top two. As it looks like coming into this 50, Aiden Jorfi will have taken over the lead. Aiden Jorfi splitting sub 31 yet again at 30.74. Another sub 31.50 split for Aiden Jorfi as he starts to build a lead of his own here as we pass 1,000 meters of this 1500 freestyle. Jorfi and Pimentel now both sub 31 on that last 50 split. Race strategy will start coming into play for these two as we near the last 400 or 300 rather of this 1500 time final. 30.3 for Aiden Jorfi on that last 50 as he starts to make a move and change gears as we get towards the end of this 1500. About a 2-second lead built for your leader, Aiden Jorfi, in lane 1 over Xavier Pimentel in 4. Running third right now is Morgan Sparks in lane 5. Momentum is with Aiden Jorfi in lane 1. Still splitting sub 31 on the last 50. He was at 30.5. When his feet hit this wall, coming up, he'll have 200 meters to go. Jorfi seated with a 15:45.43. Or 150 meters to go in this 1500 time final for Aiden Jorfi. He splits at 30.74. Meters to go for Aiden Jorfi in lane 1 as he puts together a great 1500 prelim. Remember, this is a time final. So whatever time put up in lane 1 for Aiden Jorfi, it will stack up against the rest of the field that we will see throughout the remainder of the day. .50 meters to go for Aiden Jorfi in lane 1. He split at 30.5 on that last 50 as he throws everything he's got at this last 25. Under the flags and into the wall for Aiden Jorfi as he goes 15:16.88. Out of lane 1, a huge swim. And Xavier Pimentel goes 15:24.37. Artyom Valadin from McGill takes third at 15:32.72. Uh, 15:16.88 and a closing 50 of 29.35 for Aiden Jorfi. As he made a move at about 500 meters and kept the pressure on through that 1500 to pick up the win. Up next, we have Heat 3 of the women's 800 freestyle. Heat 3 in lane 0, Mia Fredrickson out of Brock University. Lane 1 out of Dalhousie, Alexia Morgans. 2 out of Western University, Naya Martin. 3 out of the University of Toronto, Milena Kostic. And 4 out of McGill University, Sydney Shemet. 5 out of Montreal, Jade Marquis. 6 out of Guelph, Elizabeth Greaves. 7 out of the University of Calgary, Claire Bennett. And 8 out of Western University, Isabella Howes. And in lane 9 out of McGill University, Marielle Brousseau. Through the 200, starting off with an early lead. Elizabeth Greaves out of lane 6 for Guelph. She turned it 2:11:47 at the 200. So it is still Greaves leading through 300 with Jade Marquis in second. They're at 3:20:22 and 3:21:46 respectively. Really the data point you want to keep an eye on are 33:90 and 34:35 as these races develop. Pick up 1 or 2 tenths of a second and it stacks up over the course of a 1500 and 800 for the women. Through 400, Elizabeth Greaves still leading the way at 4:29:56 with Jade Marquis eating into that lead as they're going to have a battle developing on the second 400 in this 800 freestyle in lanes 5 and 6. So Jade Marquis fought back to get into this race with Elizabeth Greaves. Now Greaves fighting back and trying to pick up about a quarter body length lead. And she'll have a lead of just about 3/10 of a second with 300 meters to go. What a race we've got here in this women's 800 freestyle time final. Coming up on the three-quarter mark of this 800 freestyle, and what a show being put on in lanes 5 and 6. It is still Elizabeth Greaves in 6 with a slight edge on Jade Marquis in 5. But anything could happen over these next 200 meters of racing. A 34.7 for Greaves and a 34.8 for Marquis. As Greaves still leaves Marquis with 125 meters to go. A 34.6 and a 34.6 on that last 50 for your two leaders. We move into the final 100 meters of this 800 freestyle. What a battle we have had here. Does Jade Marquis have anything left in the tank to try to run down Elizabeth Greaves, as Elizabeth Greaves turns it on to another gear? And we'll have a three-quarter body length lead as we head into the bell after this 800 freestyle. Elizabeth Greaves a 34.0 on that second to last 50. And with 25 meters to go, the move that she made with 150 meters to go will yield her a body length lead under the flags as she turns in a 9:03.75 to pick up the heat win. As Jade Marquis turns in a 9:05.88 for second. And Naya Martin will round out your top three at 9:06.85. What a race in that 800 freestyle between Elizabeth Greaves and Jade Marquis. Up next, event 36 men's 1500 freestyle heat 3. Heat number 3 of the men's 1500 freestyle in the water in lane 1. Andrew Chilton out of the University of Victoria. Out of Sherbrooke in lane 2, that's Philippe Lacasse. 3 out of Victoria, Drew Edwards. Lane 4 out of the University of Calgary, Zachary Bowie. In 5 out of McGill, William Moran. In 6 out of McMaster, Brian Dietz. In 7 out of the University of Victoria, Oliver Thompson. And in lane 8 out of Calgary, Patrick McCloy. Zachary Bowie building himself a lead right now in lane 4. And he'll turn first in the 200 at 1:58.09. Just under a second in front of lane 5, William Moran. Through 300 at 2:58.79 in lane 4, it is still Zachary Bowie. He holds around 30-point low. If he can stay in that range, he'll put together a great 1500. Zachary Bowie looking to continue the momentum for Calgary after watching his teammates go 1-2 in the heat prior. As he settles into his pace, his teammates Aiden Giorgi and Xavier Pimentel both holding 30-point high or 31 low throughout their 1500 just moments ago. As we move through the 500, Zachary Bowie, a 5.00.84, a 30.55 split there. Zach Bowie out of Calgary was a 15.48.41 at the 2025 University Cup Pacific back in November of 2025. As he turns in another 30-point split At 5:31.63, he is well ahead of pace compared to what he went in 2025. Still holding sub 31 is your leader in for Zach Bowie. Coming up on the halfway point of this men's 1500 freestyle time final. And Zach putting together a great swim, still splitting sub 31 at 7:34.59 through halfway. Through the 800, Zach Bowie still holding under 31, turning at 8:05.29, a great 800 time. Just trying to throw 700 extra meters on it and put together a great 1500. A 1,000 meters down here for Zach Bowie, turning at 10:08.18, going 30.6 on that 50. When he went 15:48.41 just last year at the 1,000, he was at 10:31.65, so do the math on that one. He is way under pace to go a huge best time here at the 2026 U Sports Championships. .400 meters to go for your leader in lane 4 as he continues to split in that 30-point mid-range. Philip Lacoste second right now out of lane 2. Running third, Oliver Thompson out of lane 7. Zach Bowie, the first year out of Calgary, putting together a great swim, still sub 31 with just 300 meters to go in this 1500 freestyle time final. Last 200 meters for Zachary Bowie out of lane 4 for the University of Calgary. He's at 13:12:51. .100 meters to go for your leader in for Zachary Bowie. It is not often you get to watch someone potentially drop 30 plus seconds in a race, but it's happening right now in lane 4. Zachary Bowie's best time coming into this 1500, one more time, was a 15:48:41. And if he can close in 30-point flat, he'll go 15:14. A huge best time on the way for first year out of Calgary, Zachary Bowie. And under the flags, look at this time from Zachary Bowie, a 15:12:59. Dropping over 30 seconds. In our third heat of this 1500 freestyle. Great battle for second and third right now. And it looks like it will go to Oliver Thompson in lane 7 at 15:52.63. Andrew Chilton will take third out of lane 1 at 15:54.68. But one more time, what a swim for lane number 4, Zachary Bowie, a 15:12.59 and a 36-second personal best time. Up next, event 36, men's 1500 freestyle heat 4. And swimming in heat 4 of event 36, your men's 1500 freestyle timed finals. Lane 2 out of the University of Toronto, Phil Lynn. Lane 3 out of Brock University, Jared Bonta. Lane 4 out of McGill University, Keegan Gander. Lane 5 out of Wilfrid Laurier University, Owen Jibb. Lane number 6 out of University of Calgary, Matthew Sergianis. And in lane 7, representing UBC, Paul Hebrar. Through 200 at 2:00:21, it is Paul Ebrard leading the way on this field, holding 31-0 so far as he settles into his pace for this 1500 freestyle. Jared Bonta second right now, with Owen Jibb rounding out your top 3 through 200. Hebrar in lane 7, settling into a pace of 31 lows per 50 through 350 meters. This is normally where you see paces start to get established in a race like this. Back-to-back 31-1s there for Paul Hebrar in lane 7 as he holds a pretty consistent pace of 31 low so far. Bonta still running second out of lane 3, and Owen Jibb in third out of lane 5. Uh, 31-0 there as we move into the second 500 portion of this 1500. Still building a lead is lane 7's Paul Hebrar out of UBC. Another 31-0 consistency on display from Paul Hebrar in lane 7 for UBC. He turns in a 7:11.50 through 700 meters, coming up on the halfway point. A great race for second and third between Jared Bonta in 3 and Owen Jibb as they are neck and neck and have been that way for quite some time. Just 0.15 separating second and third. With a split differential, we'll go to Owen Jibb on that 50. He splits a 31-3 and shifts into another gear. Jared Bonta trying to go with him. Bonta sub 32 now on that 50. She's breathing towards Owen Jibb. Well, Ebrar now dipping below 31 seconds as we're moving into the second half of this 1500 freestyle. Might see some of these athletes start to change gears and implement that race strategy. The next point you might see that is probably as we pass 1,000. Olin Gibbs splitting a 31.27 on that last 50. Fastest split in the field coming out of lane 5. Ebrard splitting a 31.11 as he's 50 meters away now from the 1,000-meter mark of this 1500 free time final. Again, Paul Hebrar out of UBC can place in the top 8, which we'll see later tonight. And they'll need to put together a great 1500 here this morning to challenge for positioning. A lot of 31-second 50 splits starting to pop up for Jim, Sergianis, and Hebrar. Still 31-second 50 splits in lanes 5, 6, and 7. The final 400 meters on the way for your leader from the beginning of this race in lane 7, Paul Ebrar, as he splits 31-0 and maintains those 31 low splits as he's done for most of this race. Matthew Sergianis now splitting a 31-01 and has thrown it into maybe 2 extra gears here. Again, Paul Hebrar in lane 7 trying to put up a time that can be competitive with your finals tonight. The team titles being decided later this evening. Every one of these swims important in fighting for positioning. Matthew Sergianis still holding 31 mid to low. He's made a serious move since about the 900 mark of this 1500. As Jared Bonta tries to hold off a charging Matthew Sergianis in 6. Paul Hebrar with 200 meters to go in our last 1500 freestyle of this prelim session. This is a time final again. He can compete tonight and score big points for UBC. 150 meters to go for your leader, Paul Hebrar, as Owen Jibb has solidified himself in second position in this 1500. Matthew Sergianis has really surged since about the 900 mark and continues to throw down 31 mid-50 splits. Under 100 meters to go for your leader in 7, Paul Hebrar. As all these athletes try to find one more gear with just 4 lengths to the pool to go. The bell is ringing for your leader, Paul Hebrar, in lane 7. He's led from the beginning. He's trying to hold on for 50 more meters. And into the wall in lane 7 with a 15:32.64. Paul Hebrar takes the win. Coming in right now in lane 5, Owen Jibb will take second at 15:46.42. And after a surge made at the 900 mark, Matthew Sergianis will close in 28:65 to pick up third at 15:53.85. And that'll conclude our prelim session for today. Coach's scratch deadline is 12:50. One more time, scratch deadline is 12:50.
It's that moment again, the one you dream of every night. La seule chose qui te préoccupe, c'est la gloire. Le cheminement de la réussite, of pushing yourself further than ever before. But the true glory is in the shadows. Les sacrifices que tu fais, quand toutes les chances sont contre toi. When you can't push one more second, chase the glory. Visez haut.
U-Sports on CBC, presented by l'U-Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada. Nike, Fox 40, Theraburn Medical Supply, Les Bagues Baron Rings, Apar, and by BioSteel.